Hello everybody, this is Sabre with the Guild Wars 2 info update. This is episode number 14. Today I'll be going over the trait system that was released earlier this week, and a little bit about what the 10 skill bar system implies with the trait system, how they can interact with each other a little bit. But first off, I'm going to go over exactly what the traits are in Guild Wars 2. What traits are exactly is that they are small modifications that can be added to yourself to make focal points of your build or other abilities better. In a sense, it adds an extra layer to yourself and to make your builds and individual skills a little bit better and more dynamic, which in turn will make your build unique compared to other builds that are out there. So two elementalists could have the exact same skill set, but might carry some different traits to affect those skills and attributes a little bit differently. In order to learn these traits, your character will have to travel the world in search of lost books and masters and other means, so there will be a lot of hunting and legwork to learn all these traits. There are around 100 traits for each profession in the game. Total amounts will vary depending on what your profession is. Players will only be able to equip several dozen at a time, so only a quarter of the total traits for each profession can be actively used. All of them will be saved in case you want to switch things up. And since ArenaNet wants you to play around with these traits and switch them up for each profession, they did mention that there will be no added in-game cost for changing out traits and skills, so players can change stuff around to their heart's content anywhere in the world. However, they will not be able to change these traits while they're engaged in battle. It was noted that players will start to learn traits around level 15. Eric Flodham noted that ANET did not want to overload the players at the beginning of the game with all these nifty layers of combat building and skill learning and traits and builds and yeah, it's going to go overload players. So they pushed back the learning the trait system into the game a little bit, and like I said, around level 15. Lastly, not all traits and skills will be available in PvP, and of course, this is due to balancing issues. I guess it's time that I take place the expandable bar on the screen that I mentioned before about the 10 skill bars and like that, and how the traits will interact with that. First, the template colored bar at the bottom of the screen is courtesy of Nox from iloveguildwars.com. I will note that the skill icons used in this video will be from Guild Wars 1. I do not have access to Guild Wars 2 icons, bars, and such, so the only visuals I can give you are representations from Guild Wars 1 to try to convey how the skill bar will work, and how some of the skills on the warrior will work to each other, and how the trait systems will integrate with those skills. The example build will be the same one as Ben Miller used. This is a Guild Wars 2 game designer that he used in his blog entry on the Guild Wars 2 site. First, Ben opted to use double sword combo for his weapon, which, if you remember from my warrior video, swords have the skill chain Silver Artery, Gash, and Final Thrust. As I move along, the skills will drop into the bar below. Ben then slotted in Flurry, a rapid-fire attack skill, and then Savage Leap, represented by the Skills Wars 1 icon of Savage Slash, to close the distance on kiting targets. That's what Savage Leap actually does. I realize now that he neglected to mention the last two weapon positions, which would be the offhand sword skills. So in the interest of completing the bar, because I like making builds so much, I will throw in Repose, which is a defensive sword skill that kind of acts like a shield and deals counter damage, and Sun and Moon Slash, which is a double sword attack. Again, those two skills are directly from Guild Wars 1, and I just want to kind of fill the bar for you guys so you can see a complete 10 skill bar. The second area of the bar he went over is Healing Skill Slot. Now, his example he chose is Healing Burst, for its good healing ability plus adrenaline gain. I will be using Lion's Comfort from Guild Wars 1 since it basically does the same concept. The reason he used Healing Burst is that it gives the warrior extra adrenaline to do more damage, because the higher adrenaline the warrior has, the more damage he does, plus it gets to his burst skills faster. The third section is the utility slots, which will be the other skills sections on your screen there. In these slots, Ben used On My Mark. This is represented by Guild Wars 1, You're All Alone, which on my mark gives the target lower armor and calls that same target to the rest of your team. So again, it acts like that spite skill, like I mentioned the other day. The other two skills he used was for Great Justice, which in Guild Wars 2 will give allies Fury Boon and Might Boon. Not exactly sure what those two parts do with For Great Justice. And the last skill he added in for the utility slots is Frenzy, which in Guild Wars 2 will increase your overall adrenaline. Last but not least is the Elite slot. Ben used Battle Standard. This is represented by the Guild Wars 1 Eben version. This skill in Guild Wars 2 will grant powerful buffs to all of your allies on your team and anyway around you. So now we have our complete set of Guild Wars 1 Hybrid Warrior Bar. So we will now focus on traits to spruce the build up a little bit. Now the next series of graphics will try to help point you and where some of the traits are modifying the build. First, Bill Miller wanted to focus on power. This is to cause more damage and increase the skills attributes, so those sword skills will actually do more damage. Next, Ben turned to tactics because the secondary weapon is longbow. He wanted to be able to speed up the changing time between the two weapon sets the warrior can carry. In this section, he added the weapon mastery trait to lower the cooldown time for that weapon swap from double sword to longbow. Now Ben wants some sword traits for more damage. So the sword mastery trait was added for even more damage by swords only, and to increase the chance to critically hit by the skill Final Thrust. Lastly, since his alternate weapon set is again the longbow, he added some damage trait buffs for that weapon, to add a little more damage to that weapon a little bit. Please note that when Ben does switch to his longbow, these 5 weapon skills would change to longbow skills, but since he didn't list any longbow skills, I really don't have any representation of those skills for you. So with all this, the skills can play off each other for greater effects like in Guild Wars 1, like the chain skills of Severity Gash and Final Thrust, and the extra adrenaline gain from Healing Burst to get to some of those other skills faster. But the new trait system added to Guild Wars 2 will allow players to focus and tweak small areas of the build for unique and added effects, so like the speed up the change up time between the double swords and the longbow. So yeah, once again, sorry that I had to use Guild Wars 1 icons and skills like that, but I hope that I got the point across exactly how the skill bar works and how the traits interact with some of those skills on that bar. So again, those skills were from Guild Wars 1 because I don't have access to Guild Wars 2, but like I said, I hope it helped you out a little bit. As always, make sure you subscribe. That's the green box above my head there. This will give you a notice on when the latest video I post on YouTube will be. You can always follow me on www.guildwars2guru.com. The link to the description area links you to where these videos are being hosted on. You can also talk to me in the Guild Wars 1 game as Komori Inu or Ken Ukame. And that wraps it up for this episode. Thank you very much. I am Sabre Wolf, and have a good day.